All right, all right, all right. What's up, everybody? Welcome into Studio Day Heffrey.
My name is Jeff.
My name is Jeff. Brian brought us in here, but I still like to say, hey, Bri.
Hey, Bri.
It's a fun thing to say. And as Jerry Jones once said, why not start the day?
Why not just start the day fucking it up?
Welcome to another edition of Is It the Hot Dog or Is It the Bun?
Now this is a hot dog bun.
I think it's a hot dog, too.
I did figure I had to jump on because the Cowboys have a new head coach. When the Cowboys have a new head coach, it's a big deal, right? You got to get in there and you got to talk about it. You got to tell people stuff. You got to talk about the things. And I was not able to do our emergency podcast last night for the DLLS Cowboy show because I was in the middle of a big Catan game. But I did enjoy the guy who hit me up on Blue Sky. I don't know how many social medias you guys are on, but I'm also on Blue Sky, where I refer to myself as the Cowboys analyst of Blue Sky. And I was going to just let the day go and probably not even pop on, just kind of move on with my day. But then somebody sent me a message where it was about my crash out. When was I going to have a video of crashing out over the hire? Let me find the exact wording because it made me. Here we go. Is your shoddy crash out going to be available on video soon? I don't have a shoddy crash out. We already did it, right? We did it. We've done months of it. We did months of talking about everything with this team. So, I don't have a crash out video. I think we could rationally and reasonably talk about Brian Schottenheimer, head coach of the Dallas Cowboys, Matt Eberflus, defensive coordinator of the Dallas Cowboys. That is where we are, and it's happening, baby. Jeffrey out at the bar celebrating the shouting news. No, I was at a friend's house. I had a big game of Catan. I didn't win. We managed to roll dice. I had 6 of the potential, 11 numbers that you could roll on dice. And those dice were rolled 10 times in a row without me picking up a single card, and I lost at Catan. But then I won at Carbles. I don't know if you guys know Carbles, but I won. So here we are. Welcome to Brian Schottenheimer. I mean, there's 2 ways to grade a coaching hire, I think. And one of them you can grade now, and one of them you can grade later. The one that you can grade now is the Cowboys get an F-. I think that's pretty obvious, right? I can't grade your results until you have some. So all I can grade is your process. And the Cowboys process at how they got to hiring Brian Schottenheimer as their head coach is an F-. He failed up to head coach of the Dallas Cowboys. They wanted to keep his former boss. He turned down the low ball. They didn't interview any. I guess Kellen at least got other head coaching interviews, but they interviewed 2 guys that don't seem like they're serious head coach candidates. Kellen probably isn't either. And then they interviewed their old offensive coordinator who got the job because Mike knew his dad and Jerry knew his dad. And then they just had a bad offensive year, which was part of the reason that most people didn't want Mike back. And then they gave a 4-year contract to his offensive coordinator, who other teams also weren't interviewing as a head coach. And I don't think he had another OC interview either. So they get an F- for process. That's what they get. I mean, I saw a Jerry quote from Adam Schefter that is very Jerry. Quote, Brian Schottenheimer is known as a career assistant. He ain't Brian no more. He's now known as the head coach of the Dallas Cowboys. And Jerry can say stuff like that and it plays because that sentence in and of itself represents, I think, multiple things about Jerry. One, he loves his people. He's a super loyal guy. And so being able to prop up somebody that nobody else wants to makes Jerry feel good. So he likes that. But the fact that he is now the head coach of the Dallas Cowboys implies massive prestige about the job, but there is no prestige to the job. None. It's not a good job. The biggest candidates didn't want to interview for it. Cowboys weren't going to interview him anyway, so it works out fine. It's just, it's maddening. It's maddening. So we can grade in one way at this point. And the way that we can grade is how did you arrive at this point? And the answer to that is F-. He wasn't your first choice. He was your settle for guy I know after the other guy I know told us no thank you. That some of your players like and that was cheap. And I believe it's a 4-year contract, which is interesting. I would have thought they would have hardballed his ass and just been like, look, you're not getting a job anywhere else. So what you're going to do is you're going to take whatever we offer you. Let me see. Brian Schottenheimer contract. I thought I saw 4 years somewhere, but don't quote me on that. Maybe it's 3 and an option. Schottenheimer gets a 4-year deal. Dak and CD have 4 years left. Will have 4 years left on their deal. That's okay. Yeah. So it's a 4-year deal. So yeah, it lines up with Dak and CD. I guess that makes sense. Shout out to my friends in here in the super chat. KG, does this change your opinion on who they're going to draft in the first? Also mock draft. Yeah. We love a good mock draft. Formula, party at Jeff's and pool fund. Realistic expectation for the record this year. Bad news about the pool fund. I thought I had it down. I've been saying a number lately on the pool fund that was absolutely a lie. I thought I had it down lower than I do. I think it's like 32. It doesn't change my opinion on who they're going to draft, I don't think, because I don't think that's changed. If I had to pick a favorite for who they're going to draft at number 12 overall, I would say Ashton Genty. I do think Brian Schottenheimer could help solidify that, but also his experience as a play caller goes a couple of different directions. So what he does isn't necessarily totally established. Alec, I feel like it's not that bad, especially if it's true he was behind the changes on offense post-bye last year. There's noise. He had tension with Mike, and that's fine. Like, I feel bad for everyone involved. Like, I feel bad for Mike McCarthy because there's people trying to tear him up on his way out for what? He was a good head coach. They wanted him back, but not really, because they didn't offer him something that would say you really want him back. And so he's moved on, and a bunch of people are just going to tear up Mike McCarthy for no reason because he's not here anymore. And that's silly. I don't want to do that. So I feel bad for Mike McCarthy because he's going to get toe up. I feel bad for Brian Schottenheimer because he is going to be the face of Jerry Jones and aptitude, right? He is the face of what a half-assed coach search that resulted in an unqualified candidate getting the job after failing up looks like. And I don't want to hate on Brian Schottenheimer in any way, shape, or form. I think he might have been qualified to be somebody's offensive coordinator again this year. And if that's the case, and you think he can control the room and lead people and that he's got the ear of the guys that are here and you want to make him the head coach because you think he can do that, okay. But there's stuff that you can't say, because if you were to say all the things, if you say all the things that you know, then people can trace it back to, well, who did I have that conversation with that would know that? And then how did you? So basically what I'm saying is a lot of people in the world that cover sports teams know even more things that they can't tell you because it would circle back to, and you could narrow down where did this come from? And then people don't get to find things out anymore. And I say all of that just to say there's even more ineptitude than you know when it comes to the two people in charge of the Cowboys, like just of the not knowing very basic things that you would assume anyone that is in the top 50 of an organization would. There's a lot of stuff. There's a lot of ineptitude at the top. And I'll cheer for Brian Schottenheimer. I hope he does well. I'm not predicting failure on him. That's why I say there's two ways that we can grade this. One is their process, F-. Was Brian Schottenheimer a worthy head coaching candidate? According to 31 NFL teams, no. According to his entire career, no. According to Jerry Jones, yes. And the best one for our team. So their process is an F-. I do like that he wears a visor. His track record is mixed. on what to expect from him. And I want to show you two different things that I think are funny that illustrate his track record. And I think it's great. His track record is mixed. I think he's very likable. It sounds like the players have a lot of respect for him and like him. At least Dak thinks that he's up for this task, but Dak also is very supportive of everybody, especially in public. The Joneses are comfortable. They didn't have to spend much money, and they get to keep their players comfortable. That's probably not a good thing, but it is if you're the Joneses. They're going to make 2024 feel like a Super Bowl season. I do hope that the fact that I've never seen the fan base more out on the team makes them more aggressive in team building. And the fact that Jerry is now putting his stamp on a guy that the entire NFL has told you for his entire life of over 50 years in the world, that he's not an NFL head coach. Jerry's stamp is on that as saying that he is. And so maybe they'll get aggressive and getting him the talent to try to make him successful so that the Joneses look good. They, because like last season, Mike was screwed. They want to keep their books straight, and I'm not going to go tee off on them for being cheap, et cetera, et cetera, et cetera. I think that stuff is fairly well established, but they also are a team that wants to be in the mix all the time. They don't want to have a crash out season or two. And so they prefer to have their books more balanced and less aggressively team build than the teams that are going for it. Right. And Mike just took the brunt of some of that, where they chose to not have an offseason, eat some dead money, and try to get things squared away for their next run if they choose to be aggressive again. And so Schotty could have a shot, and Schotty might be a good coach. And I hope that he is. And I hope that the Cowboys win the Super Bowl. I'm pulling for Schotty. He seems incredibly likable. Everybody seems to respect him. Every time I've heard him talk, I like him. And so it's weird because you are talking about real life humans when I say he failed up and he's not deserving of the job. But I think those are just things that are established by the track record of your profession. He's over 50 years old. He's never been a head coach. I'm sure he's had some interviews over the course of his career, but nobody was interested in him this cycle as a head coach. And the Dallas Cowboys moved quickly to say, yep, that's our guy. Bam, 4-year contract. Let's go. So almost everybody thinks that he's not worthy of the job that he got. And that sucks. That sucks for him. But Jerry does. And so, that's your head coach. And so we'll pull for him and we'll hope that they do really well. And we'll hope that it turns out that Jerry was right and everybody else was wrong. And then Matt Eberflus is going to be the defensive coordinator, which I like. I think, did he have other interviews? The process is the bad part because it's just that they go get the guys that they know. Now, Matt Eberflus, I think, is absolutely qualified. He was a good defensive coordinator in Indianapolis. He was a bad head coach in Chicago. And so he's going to settle back into the place where he probably should be, which is as a defensive coordinator. And I think that Matt Eberflus is good at that job. And he's going to be the defensive coordinator. So that's fine. I'm cool with that. And I'm not cool with Schotty because it just seems mean to be not cool with Schotty. I'm going to cheer for Schotty. I want Schotty to do great. I want him to do great. Cowboys process, F-. Is the hiring good? As Mickey Spagnuolo would say, we'll find out. That's all you can do. Process F-. Coaching grade to be determined. Hopefully they're going to give him a chance and do some aggressive team building. And there we go. And that's what we're going to do. Hold on. Do we have just super anything toxic in the chat? No? Okay. Yeah, we good. Jane Slater said Eberflus wasn't confirmed yet. Yeah, so we're going to play the reporter games. I believe it was I'm not going to fight Ed Werder. I think it was Ed Werder, who's covered this team for a really long time, that said that they're hiring Eberflus. So I ain't going to fight Ed Werder. I believe that he's right and that he wouldn't make it up. So I think it'll be Eberflus. And I'm cool with that. But yeah, Jerry got his little puppet. And he's got his bridge. Have we heard Jason Witten stuff yet? Sorry, I'm waking up off of a Catan night. Witten will be on the staff. Get ready for it. But Is it really going to be but a 4-year contract? The thing is if it's a real 4-year contract, I can't believe they're going to make Witten wait 4 years to be the head coach of the Dallas Cowboys. And unless something massively changes with how the Cowboys operate, they absolutely won't let a guy go before that contract's up because they'll never pay 2 head coaches. That's always been a Jerry thing. Jeff, do you have a genuine reason why the Joneses are so incompetent? Is it because he lives in a bubble and doesn't know the NFL has changed? I think the Joneses are incompetent because their incompetence has never hurt them. They don't have to win a Super Bowl, and they know that. They don't have to. If they are relevant and competitive, they're the most valuable franchise in sports. What is the incentive to spend tens of millions or hundreds of millions of dollars to more aggressively build a team and manipulate the salary cap by signing guys who are better players with big signing bonuses? If the odds are you're still not going to win the Super Bowl, why not just be in the mix, do it comfortably with people that you like, and just say football's hard and hope the ball bounces our way? What's the point of giving ourselves a 5% chance better to win the Super Bowl? Some teams are willing to do that. They're fighting, scratching, and clawing to win the Super Bowl. The Cowboys are doing their very best to compete, hope the ball bounces their way, and be in the headlines at all times, and have generational wealth for their kids. They're winning. What's their incentive? The way they've done things has never hurt them. Fans have never left. They get more and more popular. It's never hurt them. So I think they're incompetent because they've never had a consequence for not being competent. And so that's Jerry's incompetence. Jeff, I think you were on to something. You said Jerry's worth a lot of money, but not cash. Cheap paying everyone can't afford to be an NFL owner. And I don't I have no idea. I don't know how liquid any billionaire is. But I know that the way that they operate says that either they're very frugal about this particular investment of theirs, or they don't just have a ton of cash laying around to outlay. Like Saquon Barkley and Eric Kendricks in a salary cap league counted the same amount last year. But the Eagles had to lay out whatever Saquon's signing bonus was, $20-something million. And Eric Kendrick's signing bonus was it zero? I don't know, but it wasn't that much. And so that's how they're going to manipulate things, but you spend the cash to do it. I like the Schotty hire only because he can prove us wrong or become a tank commander and force. I like that thought process, Ozzy D. If he's terrible and they don't do the offseason again, we could tank this thing up and go full draft mode. Who would you go after for OC? Honestly, I have no idea, because the whole point of this is that what Jerry's going to sell to us is that Schotty has better ideas than Mike. And if he had been calling plays, things would have been better. So it's going to be his offense. So it's going to be whatever is ancillary to him, whatever helps him the most. It'll be a challenge. I mean, there's a lot of things that come with head coach on top of the fact that you're going back to play calling, which you weren't doing. That is a lot on your plate for Brian Schottenheimer, who hadn't been a head coach. Are you kidding me? This is awful. The process of hiring a head coach didn't say anything about trying to be competitive. Go back to the fan, Jeff. I don't want to. And I love the fan. I was on G-Bag. What was that, last week? I don't want to. I have a lot of friends over there. 5 hours. I mean, shout out. Look, Gavin Dawson is a beast. Brian Broaddus is a beast. 5 hours a day, 5 days a week. It whipped my ass after about a decade of it. I can get all the Cowboy stuff out that I want to in 1 hour, I promise, every day. And if not, I can go live on YouTube after my DLLS Cowboys show. And I can make more, which is pretty sweet. KG, I've got a fun question for you. Will Dak coach after his playing career is over? And if so, do you see him being a good OC QB coach? I think Dak could absolutely coach if he wanted to. I mean, I think Dak would be a great head coach, because I think the guys who are good at the psychology can be good head coaches. So I think he could. I wonder if he would care to. I'm trying to figure out how to say this the way I want to say this. Coaching seems like one of those professions where you're so obsessed with it and you don't want to go to the house. And I feel like Dak might be a mentally healthy person that when he's done, I would struggle retired at the moment. I'm working on it though. Because I had between the fan and the freak, I had 5 or 6 months where I didn't have to do anything. And it was fun for about a month. Dak's building his family, and I feel like he's a really got it together, mature, emotionally mature person. And I feel like he could probably, when he's done, just go live life. And coaches just want to go, 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 go. Levi, I'm so sorry this is your job, Jeff. At least the fans can walk away. You're kind of stuck. I don't want to walk away. I mean, even the bad is fun. It's fun talking crazy about Jerry Jones. I'm having a great time. I love football. I love the draft. I love the team building. I like talking about the sport. I grew up and live in Dallas. The fact that somehow this all worked out and I can build an actual career and all I do is talk about the Dallas Cowboys, that is so awesome and so blessed. So what I'm saying is thank you for being here and caring about this football team. Don't leave. Stick around. Don't leave. I like Eberflus. Process of hiring Shoddy F-. Will it work out? I hope so, which is tough, right? Because part of me wants to not hope so because you want it to over and over smash into Jerry's head. You're wrong. You're not smarter than the rest of the league. Your comfort is not going to lead to a Super Bowl. Searching under every rock for the best candidates for every job, paying them what it takes to get the best of the best, that is the road to success that is most likely not. Is there anybody around that y'all know that we're friends with that'll take this gig on cheap? That's not the road to success in competitive sports. And so I want the team to do well and win all the Super Bowls, but I want Jerry to fail. That's hard to do. It doesn't work out. How can I love and hate one team so much at one time? Yeah, that's what I'm talking about. Shout out to Luis. Thanks for being in the super chat. We have the worst owner and the worst GM. No, you have the best owner. Just based on what owning something means. Being the owner of something means that your job is to make it profitable, make it worth something, and get your family set for life. They're the best. And he's made the NFL a ton of money. Jerry's the best owner, maybe in the history of sports. Yeah, he's a terrible GM. Jeff, do you think I'm nuts? I prefer Trey Lance at 10 million a year versus Dak at 60. Dak's now so immobile that he's a sitting duck in the pocket. I think you have to separate those two things. I think you can separate. I wish we weren't paying Dak a ton of money as his body is maybe breaking down. Jeff, will you ever do a call-in show? Oh, I bet I could look up how to do that. I'm sure I could. Thank you, Luis, for helping on the pool fund. I think you have to separate those two things. You can want Trey Lance at $10 million a year. No one in the NFL does. He's not good. I would take Dak at $120 million over Trey Lance at 10 because I want good quarterback play. Now, what throws that up in the air is, yes, Dak is getting older, and yes, that's another injury to the lower body, and no, he didn't play his best football this year before he was hurt. So I've got some Dak concerns. I'm looking at him with a little bit of a wonk eye. He was also an all-pro the year before. And then they had an offseason where they didn't try. CD wasn't at camp, et cetera, et cetera, et cetera. So I can find some excuses. Dak's a good NFL quarterback, and Trey Lance isn't. So I would always rather have a good NFL quarterback than not. But if you could find a way to get be the lucky team, or not even the lucky team, the team that got it right, like when Tampa pulled Baker for nothing, and he could play, that's fun. You love having quarterbacks who are on rookie deals or cheap deals or whatever. You love having those things. Those are great. I don't tie that into Trey Lance because he's not any good. I'd sign Trey Lance to a 3-year super cheap deal because then if Dak gets hurt again, Trey can get what he needs, which is to play a bunch of good. Last head coach is signing is Brian Schott. Kind of, but not totally. I saw the audio. Shout out to Jake Kemp. I saw he posted it, and shout out to Jory Epstein because it was her interviewing Jerry. When Schottenheimer got brought in as the offensive coordinator, and she asked him, some people are going to say that Mike gave Schotty this job because Schotty's dad gave Mike his first job. And so you're repaying a favor. And Jerry's answer was, well, I'd tell you that Brian's dad taught me a lot about football too on those competition committees. So it would be both of us. So part of it's probably being cute, but he is admitting yes, absolutely. But that's not Mike McCarthy just doing him a favor. I support that favor because I love his dad. Comfort, comfort, comfort. Who do I know? Who do I like? Comfort, comfort, comfort. That's Dak. Jeff, I know you like McCarthy, but I think he's so bad. It seems there's some disconnect about the offense. It was so different after the bye last year. They went 12-5 3 years in a row, and we're one of the best offenses in football. I don't understand. I can't get to I don't understand the McCarthy hate. I understand when your team doesn't do well enough in big moments that you figure out who's going to get all the blame. And so it's the quarterback and it's the head coach. I'm not saying McCarthy's a top 5 NFL head coach, maybe not top 10. He ain't bottom 16. I think he was fine. But if the optimism is pretending that it was his fault and that Schotty's the one that fixed it, that's cool. I'm down for optimism. I like people believing. Totally off topic. Did you kick the dip? No, but I'm still working on it. And I did tell my therapist that for the first time in my life, I'm going to beat the dip. And I can say that sentence and I believe it. It's going to happen. I'm getting there. Just got to continue unraveling things every Tuesday or every other Tuesday until you get to the bottom of everything. Woo woo. You do talk to Vaj, right? And you don't get the Mike McCarthy criticism. Yeah, I don't. We've been on air together when he talks about it, and I disagree with him on the air. Yeah. There's plenty of people that I respect that don't like Mike, and that's okay. I guess I get criticism, but that criticism I would want to lead to something that's realistic to be better. And Jerry Jones exists, so you'll never get that. If your thing is that Mike is not the best at this, and I want the guy who's the best at this, well, the owner ain't going to hire him or even interview him. So best not to worry about that. It's not best not to worry about that. Maybe players shouldn't have a say, but doesn't it say something that players want the coach? That's my buddy Steve. Steve's a good man. Got a great podcast. I guess, but they're also always going to say that in public. But I do believe a lot of the players really do like Schotty. Yeah, I'm torn on that one. I guess I would like my players to like the coach or at least feel inspired by the coach and want to play for the coach. I do want that. But I also don't think being comfortable all the time is the best for success. And I think the Cowboys are the most comfortable franchise in the NFL. I don't think that necessarily breeds success. We could do for a little discomfort around these pots. We could do that. I liked Mike until I started watching the film. I watch film too. I like Mike. He's fine. Is that even the right way to phrase it? I don't like Mike. I disagree with the people who think that he's terrible. That's all. Because a lot of the criticisms of Mike McCarthy would come down to, oh, the play didn't work. Because you just say, oh, they didn't do this. Yes, they did. Oh, they never do. Yes, they do. Oh, they only run. No, they don't. a lot of it is just not true. And that's fine though. He's gone. We're not worried about that. We're worried about what shot he does. And hopefully, his history. Oh, let's do it. I want to show you his history because it's funny. This is maybe people have seen this. I want to do this one first and then we'll do the other one because Brian Schottenheimer's career is funny. Mike's red zone in his big game, unimaginable play calling was my issues. Hope Schott can figure that out. I hope so too. And thank you, Josh. Okay, so share. I need to share screen. Which one is it? I want this one first. Share. I hope you guys can see this. So this is a graphic you might have seen. It's what's his name? I think it's the Ringer guy. Anyway, my buddy Charles shared it on Blue Sky, and I saw it on Twitter the other day. Here's Schotty's career. Washington, 28th ranked offense. San Diego, the only years of Drew Brees' career where he didn't look Hall of Fame level. Jets, wasted some of the NFL's best defenses with Mark Sanchez. Rams, 25th, 21st, 21st in offense. Georgia, 85th in offense. Got Mark Richt fired. Indianapolis, 30th in offense in 2017. Seattle, didn't let Russ cook. Jacksonville, 32nd in offense with Trevor Lawrence, widespread dysfunction. And so that reads as, holy crap, this guy is the worst ever. And it's funny, but it's a little disingenuous. This graphic is ass. What do you mean? Like the quality of it? I'm just hitting share screen. I don't know what it looks like. I'm crazy like that. So then here's one where it's actually a more realistic explanation. Right? Yeah, here we go. Washington, Tony Banks was the quarterback. Chargers developed Brees to his first Pro Bowl. Jets led Mark Sanchez to 14th, and 17th ranked scoring offenses. It's Mark Sanchez. Offensive coordinator at the Rams, young Sam Bradford and Kellen Clemens with no wide receiver one. Georgia, okay, this was rough. Indy, 8th scoring offense in 2016. Luck retired for 2017. Seattle, 6th, 9th, 8th highest scoring offenses. Jacksonville, Trevor Lawrence isn't as good as people pretend. So yeah, Schotty's not probably as bad as some people think. I just don't think it's fair to him. Yeah, that's why I like having both of them because one of them actually tells you more about why things were good or not. And the other graphic just bends everything as hard as it can to the negative, which is what a lot of people do. But anyway, Brian Schottenheimer. We'll see. I look forward to Monday. I actually look forward to his press conference because I think that I do think that he's intelligent and that he will talk more than some coaches. And maybe you can get a general idea of some of the things that he's looking to do. Because I don't think that's clear. Did he want to let Russ cook in Seattle? Because he got fired after he let Russ cook. Or was he happy the years that they were doing a whole lot of running? And technically it was a top 10 offense. But boy, they had a good quarterback and they limited him on purpose. Are we about to re-enter the run, pass? Ashton Genty, which I'll tell you what, the number one thing, this is from Ben Johnson, and I love it because I didn't know that this was a stat. I didn't know this was a proven stat, and I love the data. Ben Johnson, in his press conference, because he was talking about Caleb Williams, mentioned something I didn't realize. Normally turnover margin is the greatest indicator of if you won or lost a game, right? And then some archaic coaches who don't understand how we arrive at things will say like, well, the number of rushing attempts determines if you win a game. Like, no, it's the other way around. The fact that you were winning the game led to that many rushing attempts, and then you won the game. You're confusing, what is it, causation and something-ation? Causation and somebody will leave it in the chat. But Ben Johnson said now quarterback success rate. I think he just said quarterback success, but he would be referencing the stat success rate. Quarterback success is the greatest indicator of winning football now. It's not turnover margin. It's not rush attempts. It's quarterback success. Now, could just more rushing attempts lead to better quarterback success? If you have the right running back and you're actually able to functionally run it, does that open up your play action a little better? Does it get your quarterback back on track? But if that's the plan and they pull it off, cool. Correlation. Is it causation? Yeah, correlation is not causation. Thank you all. So yeah. What is Schotty's plan? Don't know. I look forward to hearing from him on Monday. I will pull for Brian Schottenheimer's success. I hope that he does great. I hope that the Cowboys win all of the football games, but I will end the same way that we started. There's two ways that we can grade a coaching hire. I feel the same way about like the draft and a lot of things. We can grade the process and then we can grade the results once we have them. So we can't grade the results. All we can grade is the process. The Cowboys' process of hiring Brian Schottenheimer as their head coach is an F-. And we hope that the grade and the job that he does is awesome. That's what we hope for. All right, everybody. I don't think I have anything else we got to get to today, do I? I appreciate everybody hanging out. It's good to see you guys. I love you all. Sincerely. I mean it. Like Ocho Cinco is one of my favorite people because he just says, I love you to everyone. And I think that's great. I love you all. Thank you. I have a career talking about the Cowboys because people give a crap or like me or are here for whatever reason. So thank you. I love you. Jeff, I'm excited. Let's go. Thanks for the draft content. Hell yeah. Or thanks for the content. That was just content. Why? I put the word draft in for no reason. Can you see where my mind's at? Texas third down back, Jaden Blue or Jadon Blue. I don't know. I don't do pronunciations yet. No one has him even ranked. I guess people just didn't think he would declare. No one even has him ranked. That dude can play. 4 fumbles, 3 lost this year. We got to teach him to hold on to the ball, but that is a big play machine. He's going to be somebody's change of pace back and make some great plays in the NFL. Pick him in the 3rd or 4th round. Okay. Remember,